And we're live.
All right, what's going on, y'all? It's the AyoPodcast, and we're back at it again. Me and Waffle are back this week. I don't know what Lo was doing last week on his own. We didn't even know that shit went up until like the next day. But thank you guys for joining the pod. At 9 p.m. or I guess 9:30 on Tuesdays Eastern Time is when we go live. If you guys want to catch us live. But before we get into all the NBA topics, let's introduce the squad. Starting off with the legend of winning. Say what's up.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's the one and only legend of winning, a.k.a. Lo. Shout out to everybody who was in the podcast last week. Whoa, my bad.
Jesus Christ.
No, my bad. Yeah, shout out to everybody who was in the podcast last week. And thank y'all for watching, sharing, and watching and shit like that, even though AJ and Waffle wasn't here last week. So, yeah.
Waffle.
Gang.
Yo, YouTube, what's cracking like a jack? It's Mac, and if everyone could go on my channel real quick and click on that AO podcast video I posted, I'd be appreciated because I need them views. I need that 50 cents. So everyone go on that video, click real quick, come back in here, and we'll be fine.
Before we start this video, I just want to let y'all know I caught a Meowth yesterday on Pokemon Go. That's what's up, yo. Anyway, let's get into the topics. I don't know what this police topic is talking about, but we'll get into the Tim Duncan one. Tim Duncan retired. I bet some of y'all didn't even know because he went out pretty damn quietly. Pop had some words to say about him, and of course they were inspirational. He said he wasn't even trying to be humble. He said he wouldn't be where he is today without him. You know, I shed a tear seeing what Greg Pop had to say about Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, one of the best players of all time, is leaving the NBA same year as Kobe. Let's get your takes.
Yeah, like you said, man, one of the greatest players of all time. In my opinion, top 10, but if not, he's not top 10, and he's obviously top 15. And once I started to look back and I started to think about it, we might have watched one of the greatest eras, if not the greatest era of all time in basketball from, I want to say, 2000 to 2015, like a 15-year span of just consistently great basketball, or at least consistently great basketball players entering and exiting the league. So, you know, it's an honor to see him play. It's an honor to honor and privilege to see him play and work and what he did in his career. And I can say that I actually saw Tim Duncan for a majority of his career and saw him through his prime and his decline. And I'm happy I can say that because there's a lot of great players like Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird that I didn't watch them. I wasn't old enough to see what they were able to do, so I can only go off what other people said how great they were. But with Tim Duncan, man, that man is great, yo. That's a great player, yo. That's a phenomenal top 10, top 15 player all the time.
Facts. That's facts.
That's true. Well, a lot of people say he's the best power forward of all time, but, you know, he's probably the only power forward I've seen that's at least up there, other than Dirk Nowitzki. But, yeah, man, shout out to Tim Duncan. Went quietly. Seemed like it was going to... excuse me. Let me say this again. It seemed like a Tim Duncan-esque way to leave. You know, Kobe made an announcement, but I think Tim Duncan, if he made an announcement, it would have been a lot more bigger. At least we would have appreciated it more. But it was still big the day he announced it. A lot of people were talking about it. They had like an hour special on ESPN on SportsCenter talking about it. A lot of people crying. A lot of people, reminiscing, nostalgic about what he did. You know, he won the MVP, 5-time NBA champion, and people forget that this guy never left. He was a Spur for life. And this guy was back in there 97, 98. He's been consistently healthy for majority of his career. Been doing the same thing he does now. So this guy Tim Duncan is definitely a great player.
Agent? What the?
Yep, sorry. I was trying to make that video on my channel to direct people here because I was late on that. But, yeah, wasn't a huge Tim Duncan fan all my life simply because I was a huge Kobe fan, so I'm going to see Kobe win all those rings. But it was nice to see him win even late in his career, getting that championship late. He had a great career, man, but he was blessed from the start, which I know when you have that Kobe-Duncan debate, which I'm trying to avoid, he's had consistency. He's had the same coach all along. He's had great players around him, and that's something that if you're a player like Tim Duncan, you can sometimes overlook, and I'm sure he doesn't. But he was able to take advantage of that. He was able to take advantage of the guys he had around him and the consistency. And it wasn't like no matter what was going on around the league, that was a team that you knew for sure, led by Tim Duncan, was getting at least 50 wins. And there is very, very few players you can say that about. So Just his ability to lead a team is crazy. And yo, I mean, Tim Duncan is a very different player from the rest of the NBA, because the rest of the NBA, I love players like Russell Westbrook and Joakim Noah who they express all their emotion, but Tim Duncan never had to do that. He wasn't really ever going for highlights. He just knew how to win games, and he won games his entire career. So, I mean, it goes to show you won all those championships, and easily, he's gonna hit that Hall of Fame. He's gonna be a player we miss, bro. I don't know. This is crazy. This is a crazy time for sports. It really is the end of an era, especially in football. Peyton Manning retired, and now in basketball, Kobe retires, and Dirk might play one more year, and Tim Duncan retires now. It's like, wow, all the players, if you've been watching NBA for a while, now all the players you grew up with are starting to just retire and do their own thing. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting, but, I mean, it's sad at the same time. Nowhere near as sad as Kobe leaving for me, but, hey, man, it's Tim Duncan. You got to show your respect.
Another thing about Tim Duncan that people, this is kind of a fun fact, but this guy's been in the playoffs for his whole career. He's been in the playoffs every single season of his whole career.
Which is so true.
Which is kind of crazy. If you think about it, this nigga been in the year for in the league for 20 years, 19, something like that?
19.
Every year this nigga's been in the playoffs. There's not that many NBA players today you could say about that, except LeBron James, of course.
Did LeBron make it his rookie year? Because I don't think LeBron made it his rookie year.
Actually, I'm about to see that right now.
I think Tim Duncan might be the only player who can say that he's been in the playoffs every year in his career. And a part of that is, of course, the Spurs and their organization and what they were able to do and put around him throughout his career. But, of course, that still speaks on how great of a player he was in his tenure with the NBA. Another thing about Tim Duncan in the era that we just passed by, and the reason why I said it's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, eras of all time, well, one, because I grew up watching the era, so of course I show some bias towards it. But if you think about it, I mean, you could argue in the past 15 years, we've seen 3 to 4 of the top 10 players play.
Yo, wait. Wait, how the fuck did you misspell AyoPodcast for a second week, bro?
Bro, I'm copying and pasting. That's what I'm doing. Hold on, let me change that again.
Yeah, I read that shit over. I couldn't hold that in. Hold the L.
I'm about to say, oh yeah, but if you think about it, just look at what transpired in the past 15 years. We've probably watched 4 out of the top 10 players play in the NBA ever, which is crazy. From Shaq, Duncan, Kobe, and LeBron James. The fact that is something that I think a lot of people take for granted, and that part of the NBA is probably done with. It's over. Is moving on to another era. And even within that era, you miss great players like Chris Webber, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Steve Nash, Jason Kidd, Kevin Garnett, so on and so forth. The fact that Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant, to that effect as well, were able to continue to win within that level of talent that was in the NBA for so long, again, I think it just speaks to how great Tim Duncan is as a player, as a teammate, what he meant to that organization, what he means to the NBA. And like I said, man, it's just been a privilege watching somebody play at that level of greatness.
Facts. We overlook it, too. I mean, I've never seen a team that's been so good for so long that they can legit have like a 55-win season, and we go, that's it? And that's all they did? And it's not like, that's the consistency, the ability to win and then not put your foot on the brakes and go even harder the next year. That's intensity. And, man, I mean, here's an interesting topic. Tim Duncan, it's not like he was the biggest contributor to the Spurs last year. Considering, he's really old, he was taking a lot of breaks, and even when he was playing, he ended up on Shaq and a Fool in some of his plays. We know he's not in his prime. That was obvious to us. But what do the Spurs lose right now going into next year because Tim Duncan retired?
I mean, they obviously lose. They lose the image. They lose that face. They lose that presence that Tim Duncan has in the locker room. I think what Tim Duncan was able to bring to the organization at this point in his career was just the presence and the excellence that he brought in the locker room more than anything else on the actual court, which is why his value as a player probably superseded what he did on the court this year. But it's just just the presence, just the the person he is, and you know, keeping guys in check and making sure people cross their T's and dot their I's. That's what they're gonna be missing. But like you said, as a player, he wasn't the same player he was, you know, last year than he was in his rest of his career. But nevertheless, it's still, you know, you're still gonna miss Tim Duncan.
Yeah, they're gonna miss his veteranship, but they did get Pau Gasol, so I'm not saying that they're gonna be losing too much since they still got most of their core players there. They still got LaMarcus Aldridge. They're basically transitioning into the new era of the Spurs basketball because you know they let go of Tim Duncan. You bring in LaMarcus Aldridge. You know now you retired. Now you bring in Pau Gasol, and you got Kawhi Leonard from a few years ago. And you still got Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili there. So the Spurs are going to be fine. They're still going to get around like 50 wins, second best team in the Western Conference. But, you know, Tim Duncan, still he was savvy at the defensive end last season. Didn't really do much offensively, but he was still good for what he had left in the tank.
Man, I talk a lot about how I don't think the Cavs organization deserved a championship simply because, I mean, they didn't really do anything to deserve it. They managed their team poorly. They got lucky LeBron was born from the city. But we're talking about good management. You can't ignore the Spurs. You remember who they traded for Kawhi? George Hill. I mean, to be able to make those moves on a consistent basis, so no matter, like when Tim Duncan's about to retire, you have the guy to step up and lead in his place. Kawhi is that guy now. That team that organization is led to like picture perfect. There's no better managed team in the NBA than the Spurs, and Tim Duncan was obviously a beneficiary of that. Obviously not taken away from what he's done in his career, but even with him being gone, I think that organization is going to be okay, man. The San Antonio is not a big market, and so it's not easy to attract talent. And the fact that they're able to do that on a consistent basis, again, Pau Gasol, is phenomenal. So shout out to the Spurs. I think they're going to make some noise in the Western Conference, even though, you know, Kevin Durant to the Warriors is all the big rage right now. But I think the Spurs are going to be easily the biggest threat. And we'll see if they pick anybody else up in free agency to add some depth to the squad.
Maybe.
True.
I don't think so, though.
You never know, man. But, hey, okay, this is an interesting topic. We'll switch it up a little bit. Is Draymond Green. I heard this through Cash's comments because a lot of people are like, wow, he got out of – they're making a lot of Draymond Green Cash jokes. I need you guys to break this one down because I wasn't really following it. Draymond got arrested for what?
He was basically, I think he was at a bar or something like that, or he was in some public place. Some fan or some guy, you know, that was, I guess he's a fan of the NBA. He was heckling and making fun of Draymond, calling him a bitch or a pussy or whatever he was calling him. And Draymond basically had enough of it and slapped the fuck out of him. And so because he assaulted the man, he got arrested. In my opinion, though, I don't understand why fans just think they can just talk recklessly about a grown-ass man who ranged from 6'3" to 6'8", that can weigh 250 pounds or more. Like, what is your, like, why do you think that's okay to do? Like, you think that he's not going to touch you? So Draymond touched him, and he got slapped the fuck out of his face, and he started, I'm going to call the police on you, and he called the police. So he went from talking mad shit to calling the police, and so that's what happened.
Do you guys remember that guy in the... Remember when, I think it was the game that Curry fouled out and he threw his mouthpiece at the guy in the stands? The guy who was talking shit all game? Like, you ever bring up a good point. People don't give a final fuck. People have no respect for the athletes to the point where it's a basketball game. Why are you attacking the person's character or talking shit outside of the basketball court? Man, you gotta understand with Draymond. If that's the reason he threw the punch, is completely understandable. Although
No, it's not understandable.
Provocation. Saying somebody provoked you isn't, you can't go in court and be like, nah, he was talking shit, so I punched him. But
no, you can. And
no, it won't hold up in court. But
yes, it will. Actually, you can if you provoke somebody to put him into that position. I mean, he didn't provoke him that much, at least from what I understand. But yeah, you can.
At least not in Canada. That's not how it works. It needs to be like instinctual. Like if that person attacks you and you're just instinct, and that's gonna be difficult to prove. Anyways, I'm not getting into sport legally, but
yeah, I'm about to say.
I mean, I don't see what's wrong with that. I'm assuming there's nothing crazy that went on. Did the NBA fine him or anything?
He's about to get fined.
Yeah.
He's gonna get fined. They said $500, but it'd probably be more than
$500. Wow.
$500. On the low though, it depends on how much he gets fined, because now this is gonna set a precedence. Because if I'm a millionaire and they fine me $500K, is it worth me slapping somebody when they talking mad stuff if I'm gonna get fined $500K? Because if I was an NBA player and I was out and about, somebody talking crazy about me, I would have to weigh my options. I'm a millionaire now. $500,000 ain't that much. I might have to slap a nigga. I'm just put it out there. I might have to slap somebody if they gonna keep talking.
If you run around and keep slapping people, then
really, not keep doing it. You only gotta slap a few people for everybody to understand. Like, yo, he gonna slap you, yo. So let me stop. He gonna run slapping folks.
You shouldn't be slapping nobody. Slapping this guy because he's talking about this guy's stats and how small he came up in some of the games in the regular season. That don't mean nothing.
No, I don't think he was talking about basketball. I thought he was just attacking him for his character. I thought it was just like something that had nothing to do with basketball.
I thought he was talking about his stats and shit.
I thought he was talking about like he was a bitch. Well, even if he talked about his stats, I mean, Draymond in Game 7, Draymond came to play, so even that still isn't a valid reason for you to talk stuff.
That's why you gotta be the bigger man and be like, yeah, but I'm making that money. What you
bigger man? Yo, imagine you're 6'8", you weigh probably 100 pounds more than the
nigga.
He weighs out more than 100 pounds more than the guy, and that guy's talking. If somebody talks shit to me and I'm 100 pounds bigger than him, I'm sorry, I will stomp you.
Exactly.
Come on.
You gonna stomp him?
I'm sure it wasn't.
You gonna do nothing, nigga.
Yo, I'm sure it wasn't his first instinct to like fight him, but he probably kept on talking shit, and then he got the punch. So, I mean, that's how when I piss my brother off, he doesn't just attack me right away. But if I keep doing it, then he's like, yeah, I'm bigger than you. I'm gonna fuck you up right now. I go, all right, I'm gonna chill. So, I mean, everybody needs to chill. At some point, you need to relax, and it's the off season.
People need to know their role, yo. That's all I'm saying.
Facts. And he just came off a loss in Game 7 of the Finals, up 3-1. Give him a break. Come on.
Give him a break for what? This nigga got suspended in Game 5.
I understand.
That's not the reason why they lost, though.
I mean, it's part of the reason, but it's not really the reason why.
That's part of the reason.
It's part of the reason.
Anyway,
they wouldn't have won in Game 5 if it was there.
But Game 7 though, he came to play. When it was time to play, he came to play. Oh. And again, I don't think he was talking about his game. I thought he was just talking about like he was just calling him a bitch like every heckler does in the NBA crowd. That's what I thought he was saying. But even again, that was what, a month ago now. Like Jesus Christ, they got KD now. We're moving on to something bigger and better. Is done already. So get over it, nigga. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Get over it, Draymond. No need to fight niggas.
Nah, I'm slapping.
Don't need to fight niggas.
I'm slapping. If they gonna find me $500K, I'm slapping that nigga.
Everyone gets fined for doing that shit. You know that. You know the rules. Chris move in this bitch.
I'm slapping that nigga, yo.
I'm be the bigger man.
No.
All right, while you guys are talking, I was trying to read up on the next topic. We'll switch it up and talk about Hack-a-Shaq. So they improved some of the rules. Obviously, if I'm paying, especially in Toronto, if I'm paying $250 to watch a game, and Houston or what's another team that does this? The Spurs do this a lot.
Everybody does it.
I know, but those are the teams I see do it often, and the Clippers as well. They do Hack-a-Shaq all the time. So if I'm paying money to see a game, I do not want to see a fucking free throw contest, all right? I want to see some action. And so it's like a cheat to the people who actually paid to be there. And it's a cheat to the people that are spending their time at home watching the game. And some argue that it's a legitimate, thing. This is a tactic, just like other tactics in the sport. But it's one that I feel like it's inherently against the spirit of basketball. When you think about basketball, you think of the highlights and the action, the game-winning shots and the alley-oops. Nobody thinks of the game-winning free throw, although that happens, and free throws are important and overlooked. But I know I'm reading up this rule right now. So you guys know that the last 2 minutes of the game, if you hack somebody, it's 2 free throws and the ball. They extended that rule so it's the last 2 minutes of each period. And so if you do it in 1 minute left in the first quarter, it's the same thing. And so they didn't extend it the whole game, but just the last 2 minutes of each quarter. And I mean, so I think the other stuff was pretty minute relative to that one. So I mean, that's the biggest change they're willing to make. To be honest, I would have liked to see it be removed altogether. I don't know what the last 2 minutes of the first quarter. I don't know how that has any more significance than the rest of the game. But anyway, what do you guys think?
I I mean, you're doing it at least. I mean, it's kind of balanced, so it's like you can still foul people. You can still put them on the line and stuff like that. Make them make their free throws if they don't know how to shoot free throws. But at least in the last 2 minutes of each quarter now, if you foul them, you're gonna get that whatchamacallit. Fuck, it's a fucking ant on my fucking monitor. Whatchamacallit. What was I? What?
I don't know what you're saying right now.
Yo, I gotta take care of this ant. Go ahead.
Oh my god, you bugging. I don't know. Me personally, I'm kind of in the middle with this because it's bad basketball. I don't think there's no way around it. People, I mean, we're literally stopping the game because one team is literally unable to guard somebody. I mean, that's literally what the end result is. But on the flip side of that, I just feel like if you can't step up and hit your free throws, that's part of the game. So I don't. It's kind of up in the air. I think there's still, like Agent said, it's not too extreme on one end or the other, so they didn't completely get rid of it. And so I don't mind it that much, right? But I still think it's something that players should have to do. Like at the end of the day, if they're fouling you because you're that dominant, then you have to make your free throws. You just have to work on it.
I was continuing to read. I was wrong about one thing. I thought it was 2 free throws in the ball. It's 1 free throw in the ball. I don't know whether they changed that or it's always been that way and I just misinterpreted it. Another rule change, which it looks like I thought this was already a rule. If you foul while the ball still hasn't been inbounded, then it's 1 free throw in the ball. But that's another rule they talked about in this article. And you know how Chris Paul likes to jump on people's backs a lot? That's now a flagrant foul without deliberation. So a second you see somebody on another person's back, that's an immediate flagrant foul call. So those were the three changes that they made. So that's, I mean, to stop players from being injured due to Hack-a-Shaq, because sometimes players can get kind of reckless.
Again, I get it. Trying to make the game more entertaining to watch it. But again, on the flip side, I understand both sides of the arguments because people should just you're a professional player, man. You're at an NBA level, at a very high level of basketball. Just make your free throws, yo. That's it.
You know why the NBA probably doesn't want to get rid of it? Because they love to, when the foul is called, they love to take their media timeouts and just show you commercials. That's their commercial time when people start to act. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of the reason why they're kind of hesitant to get rid of it altogether.
I think if they get rid of it, I think there'll be a whole uproar because they'll be showing preferential treatment to people who can't shoot free throws.
No, they just be speeding up the pace of the game.
No,
I mean, they have a shot clock in there to do the same thing, right?
No, but they're still showing they're still making a. I'm just saying they're making They're making a preference to players who can't shoot free throws.
Yeah. Some NBA players, especially the ones that can shoot free throws really well, always make the argument that, I mean, if you can't shoot your free throws, why are you looking for help? Just make your free throws and nobody would hack you, which is also the case. And I mean, it would never make sense to hack somebody unless they shoot a free throw percentage under 50%. Because, I mean, for obvious reasons, you give them 1 free throw and they keep missing. Anyway, I don't want to get into the logistics of that. We'll move forward. Unless Waffle, you got rid of that ant and you want to talk about it.
I'm about to say Waffle with the ant. He was fighting with the ant.
I'm good. I'm done with this topic.
The very big topic is Kevin Durant joins the Warriors. I don't know whether you guys talked about this last week, but I think everybody's on the internet at this point has talked about it. Is it a good or bad move? I mean, after you got a couple weeks to think about it, Waffle, what do you think?
I think it's a good move for Kevin Durant. Whoa. Actually, I take it back. It's a good move for the Golden State Warriors, but it's a bad move for Kevin Durant and the whole NBA. It's a good move because the Warriors, after losing to the NBA Finals after they choked 3-1, won 73 games, they gained a top 3 player, a superstar, and Kevin Durant to join an already elite 3-point shooting team, and they got the means of getting him. So if you can get Kevin Durant a player like that, everyone wanted him. Everybody wanted Kevin Durant on this team, and they got him. But it's a bad move for the NBA because, first of all, for Kevin Durant, it's not like he's going to be regarded as the top player on the team. There's no way he can win MVP anymore because he's already on a stacked team and loaded team already. And he might not be the alpha dog on that team. And for the NBA, it's way less competitive. You go from the Thunder to the Warriors. The Thunder are basically irrelevant, well, they're not relevant, but they're probably going to trade Westbrook, and now you don't have a Durant on that team. There's no way any team in the Western Conference, other than the Spurs, stand a chance against that Warriors team, and it's going to be a cakewalk. They already won 73 games last year. They got to the the NBA Finals last year. So basically, if you really think about it, Kevin Durant, add him to the Warriors. That's going to be a one series next year. You think Kevin Durant is worth at least one game in the NBA Finals? And someone else was talking about it on ESPN New York Radio. Kevin Durant added to the Warriors, he's probably worth 9 games too. So Warriors could end up going 82-0 if they really wanted to.
No, they can't.
They could.
Because there's going to be one team, or it might be injuries, because, the likelihood of that whole team staying healthy that entire season is unlikely.
You only need one player to stay healthy, though, on the team. You only need Curry or Durant to be healthy one game.
Okay, so let's say Kevin Durant's injured or Curry's injured, and they go up against the Cavs. Or the team they had problems with last year, the Bucks, a team that doesn't give a fuck about threes and scores inside every possession. There's going to be a matchup that they struggle with. There's going to be a game where they shoot bad. There's going to be something that goes. 82, no, that's 0% possible. They might beat their last year record.
It's possible. They're not going to go for it, but I'm saying if they wanted to, if they really wanted to, they can get it.
If they go for it again this year and they don't win the championship, then I don't know. That Golden State franchise, that whole organization is just holding a massive L.
True. I know on my end, I agree everything what Waffle said. Before I get into it, I just put up a video yesterday about my how I feel about what just happened with the OKC and Golden State Warriors and Kevin Durant signing with the Golden State Warriors. So for more in detail and more in depth with what I just what I'm about to talk about, you can go on my channel because you're already on my channel. Subscribe, of course. Follow me on Twitter, of course. Now let me stop. You can watch it.
Your Steph preview has 15,000 low.
Yeah, I know.
80, I see you.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, go on my channel. You can go on my channel. It's the last video uploaded, and it'll talk about more in depth on what I'm saying. But like agent, like Waffle said, and I'm pretty sure I don't know, agent might say the same thing and might echo what both of us are saying. It's good for the Golden State Warriors because it enhances their chances of winning another championship. It's bad for, in my opinion, it's bad for literally everybody else though in the league. Kevin Durant, I think his legacy will take a hit on this. He's going to win a championship, and that's what he wants. But his legacy as a player, it will take a hit because he joined this team. Also, his numbers, his accolades, he'll never reach that level of greatness ever again because he wouldn't have to, because he's on a team that just went 73-9. So he'll never have to push himself to another level of greatness. Same thing with Stephen Curry, same thing with Klay Thompson, same thing with Draymond. Though all those players are great because of the adversity they had to face to push themselves to that level of greatness to where they can go 73-9, they will never have to work that hard again because Kevin Durant is on the team. And for the rest of the league, everybody else now has to keep up with what's going on in Oakland now. Back in 08, was it 07, 08, when Boston Celtics put that team together. A few years later, the only way that they can be dethroned was by piecing together a super team in Miami with LeBron, Bosh, and Wade. So it's going to happen. Another super team is going to have to pop up to compete with them. It's obvious. If you don't think that's what's going to happen, you're crazy. And it's a shame, but it is what it is. Hopefully, it doesn't get to the point where so many teams are irrelevant. But like Waffle said, there's already so many relevant teams. OKC will be on that list of irrelevant teams. Either it's going to be this year or next year once Russell Westbrook is gone off the team. And it's a shame because nobody's not going to want to play in OKC after KD and Westbrook and James Harden, for that matter, are no longer on that team. So it's a shame, but it is what it is. That's what Kevin Durant wanted to do, and he has every right to do it because he was actually a free agent. So.
Yep, keep in mind, keyword free. So, I feel like you could do whatever you want with your career, but he set a precedent that if you want to win, you have to be with winners. And I guess that makes sense in life, but in the NBA, nobody wants to know which team wins every single game. It takes away from the fun of watching an NBA game. You never know that the Bucks were going to upset the Warriors last year in the game. That was crazy. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, that was either their first or second loss. So that's what makes basketball entertaining. Nobody watches the Globetrotters anymore because you know who's going to win. And so I think Kevin Durant took away that parity, unfortunately. A part of me is excited, though, because Kevin Durant on the Warriors, an already exciting team to watch, got an incredibly exciting player on their team. So the level of clutch on that team. Who do you guard when it's about to be a buzzer beater situation? Do you guard Kevin Durant or Clay or Steph? You can't guard them all. You can't double team any one of them. So it gives them a huge opportunity to begin to create shots for themselves, because you double, I mean, you're not going to leave Kevin Durant open for three, are you? So it'll be a fun team to watch. If you're a Warrior fan, of course you're excited. But if you're the rest of the NBA, you're thinking, wow, so do my Raptors or do my Knicks or does my team have to build a super team just to compete now? And I think that's how it is now. I think you really need a super team. So even if you have one superstar, if there's not another All-Star on that team or another 2 All-Stars or 3 All-Stars on that team, then you might be in trouble.
And also, to put context, because everybody keeps, comparing what Kevin Durant just did to what LeBron did a few years ago. Chris Broussard needs to lose his job because he has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to the NBA. Sure. He needs to lose his job, and just him talking is just ridiculous. Me and my brother make fun of him every time he's on TV because he doesn't know what he's talking about. But it's not the same thing as what LeBron did back in, 2010, 2011, or whenever it happened. What LeBron did, he was on a bad team. He was being beat by a great team, and he joined another team. LeBron wasn't on a team with another top 5 player. That wasn't the case. LeBron didn't leave that team to join the same team that was beating him. So that wasn't the case. And LeBron James joined a team that wasn't winning any games. Actually, I think that the year before LeBron went there, I don't even know if Miami went to the made the playoffs, but if they did, they were a lower seed team. So it's not like he went to a great team. So it's not the same thing. People have to stop comparing it. And as I go back into NBA history, this is by far the first time somebody in their prime left a great team to join another great team. It's never happened before.
I guess so. But, I mean, I was thinking about it while you were talking. So Kevin Durant's a superstar, and he's in free agency. He has the ability to sign to any team he wants to. It wouldn't make sense for him to sign to a trash team, especially because he's chasing a championship. So that just rules out a huge majority of the NBA. And, I mean, he can go to a good team like the Celtics, or he can go to the Raptors. I mean, he can go to a lot of just decent teams, but he wants to go to a team that's winning. And so I think he just wanted to put himself in a situation to win. So if he wasn't going to sign back with OKC, the only other teams that make sense, the only other team that would make sense is the Warriors, because the Cavs are way too over the cap for them to even consider him.
He could have went to the Clippers, though.
He could have went to the Clippers. That's a possibility as well. But even if he went to the Clippers, people would have been saying the same thing. Maybe not to the same extent.
Maybe
not to the same extent. But you don't think people would fucking turn around and be like, wow, you left OKC to win a championship with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and DeAndre. You're a fucking scrub.
OKC fans would have said that because they thought that, because truth be told, that team that Kevin Durant was on was a great team. But I think the biggest issue that a lot of people have is not necessarily him leaving OKC, because I've told y'all for as long as I've known y'all, I don't think Russell Westbrook is that great of a point guard. I think if Kevin Durant played with Chris Paul, he would have a championship by now, because the type of player that Westbrook, the type of player that Chris Paul is, he would facilitate the ball to KD more than Westbrook did. So I don't think it's him leaving OKC. If you're upset that him leaving OKC, then you're stupid. I'm just sorry, or you're an OKC fan, one of the two. But it's the biggest problem is he took the easy way out, and it's a very weak move that he did. But he's going to win a championship, and he went to the team that's going to win. That they just won 73-9. That's why people are upset with it. And he contradicted himself, because he sat there and said when LeBron went to Miami, we're supposed to be competing out here. We're not supposed to be making super teams, and he made a super team.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of that politician that goes in with good intentions and then realizes you really can't fucking make it unless you do some real dirty shit. And then he does some dirty shit, and then everyone's like, wow, look at him. He's just like all the rest. So just like Kevin, I think he just realized you can't beat these super teams unless you're on one.
But he was one game away from beating him.
I understand that, and that's where a lot of the anger is coming from. But I mean, you can understand the pitch they made to him. I don't know if you read the Woj tweet, but they said you can win a championship with the Thunder, and we'll win some championships here in Golden State, but we'll win a lot if we're together. And they have a point. They will. And so, are you willing? Because really, once Westbrook's contract's out the year afterwards, the likelihood that they would both re-sign back, I'm not sure about that, and there's a lot of risk involved. And so this is a pretty low-risk deal for him. He's only there for a year and a second-year player option if he wants to.
He's staying. He's not leaving.
If they win, I think he's going to take that player option. Or
he's taking that player option fucking regardless, nigga. He's trying to get.
Or he can sign for the new max next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's taking that option.
So I don't know. I don't want to go too hard on him because he made the decision for him in his career. But at the same time, like for the rest of the NBA, I mean, there's just no hope at this point. All Dwayne Wade needed to do was go to the Cavs, and I probably would have just stopped watching the NBA. I've been like, this is way too much.
Yes, man. It's a grown man making a grown decision. Let him live, yo.
Oh, he can live. I'm not. Again, like I said before, he was a free agent. He can do whatever he wants to do, and I thoroughly understand why he made the decision. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, it was a weak decision, and he took the easy way out. That's what he did. That's what he did. He took the easiest way to win a ring, and he wants his legacy to be remembered for winning championships more than anything else. And again, I think at the end of his career, his legacy will be hurt because of that.
I doubt people remember. I don't know if people would really hold it over his career. Like, you won a ring with this team. I think at the end of the day, like, nobody fucking looks at. Actually, people do look at Luke Walton and be like, you didn't really do anything to get those rings because although he was starting, he didn't really do shit for the team.
A lot of players got rings they don't really deserve compared to other players. People think they deserve rings.
But the difference between those and Durant is that Durant's gonna be a huge part of the reason that team wins. So
and he still will.
This is like the student that gets a 96 on his test, and then he goes, "Nah, teacher, remember you marked this one wrong," and then he goes and gets a 99 because she marked that one wrong, and the teacher had to change that mark. So there's Warriors have a 99% right now. They have a 99% out of 100 chance of, well, unless injuries happen or chemistry goes wrong. What's the chances that chemistry is not going to click though? Come on.
No, it's not.
Like 0% chance.
I mean, Kevin Durant's a pretty versatile player. He'll make it work. So
that was a terrible analogy as a side note.
No, that was a great analogy.
No, that was terrible.
It was.
It's great going to excellent.
That was a bad analogy. Even the dude in the chat, he was like, "Yeah, that's a bad analogy." Yeah, you're right, yo. It was a bad analogy. You're right.
You're just saying that because you're saying that. People understand.
That analogy made no sense.
It made no sense at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe I'll explain it afterwards to you guys in like baby language.
Either way, Durant is a top 3 leader since he came into the league in scoring, and there's only 2 other players that do that. So
okay, so Kevin Durant signed with the Warriors. I'm all right with that, but here's where I started to get fucking mad. Here's where I started to get annoyed. The Warriors pick up Zaza Pachulia, they dash Bogut, and of course the team's going to swallow him up as soon as possible. David West and Ian Clark also go to the Warriors. I'm like, oh my, might as just give him the rest of the league. Why don't we just throw Westbrook on that team too? We can give him DeMar and Kyle. We don't fucking need him in Toronto. The amount of stacking is ridiculous. This one LeBron went to remember when LeBron went to the Cavs and he just started to fucking recruit everybody? It was like Ray Allen almost went there and James Jones went there and Sean Marion I think was there for a year. And he was recruiting all.
They were going to have to sign people anyway. So I don't understand why you.
I'm just saying. I just got annoyed when I saw other decent players start to flock over there because they thought it was their easy way to win a ring. It was kind of like when T-Mac returned to the NBA. And he was on the Spurs, and he's like, "Yo, I ain't playing minutes, but can I get that ring though?" It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, David West is all right. He's not anything special, in my opinion, at this time in his career.
He's like 77 overall, right?
Stop! You gotta stop doing that.
Yo, he does not do. You
gotta stop doing that.
Ian Clark is he's basically he's not really anything good or special or anything either. So it's not like they lost a lot. They really lost a lot on that bench. I mean, Zaza Pachulia is cool.
I don't think they lost as much as people are portraying. I mean, they still have. I don't know if they still have Livingston, I mean, they still have Iggy.
Yeah, they got him.
So they still have Livingston and Iggy. So I mean, let's be honest. That right
those
there
are the only
was.
two people they kept.
That's what I'm saying. That was really the only biggest part of their bench. Sure, Barbosa's gone and some of the younger guys, but in the big picture, I mean, they kept their bench. I don't know why they at least tried to throw Bogut a contract to see if he was going to come back. But I mean, Bogut wasn't really playing a huge part of the reason why they were winning or losing games in a regular season anyway. So I mean, they didn't really lose that much after losing Bogut. I don't really think it was that big of a deal. I don't think they lost much. I think they gained more than they lost, especially on their bench, because they still kept Iguodala and Sean Livingston. So I mean, I don't know.
Those guys were on the bench before though.
But that's what I'm saying is when people say they lost depth, I don't think they lost depth. I think the depth is the same because their depth was basically Sean Livingston and Iguodala anyway.
Nah, I can't agree with that. Because Barbosa and Spades off that bench they were huge parts in some of those games. And even Azili gave up minutes.
When they needed it though, they didn't show up. Well, not Barbosa. Barbosa was actually playing really good.
But now they're trying to replace those guys with Clark. Come on, they need more than that.
Oh, look at Crispy in the chat. Crispy Flakes.
Yo, Wolf, you remember that guy in the Broncos, the safety that butchered that one play when the year the Broncos lost, like 3 or 4 years ago? You know his name?
Is he still on the Broncos?
Nah, he's on a different team now. Because I was going to compare him to Azili. He's just the guy that nobody fucking wanted on the field. And then he just got in there and he just fucked everything up. And you said Azili, that was the first person who came to mind. I'm blanking on his name, though. Anyway.
Yeah, he played bad in the playoffs, but he was so cool.
He played hella bad in their finals game. I was like, yo, what is he doing?
I don't remember that guy's name, though.
Also, Steve Kerr he's going to be one of the more overrated coaches in NBA history. Because Steve Kerr, the last 3 games, got outmatched by Tyronn Lue.
Raheem Moore! That guy! Alright, sorry. I got his name.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That was a guy.
Yeah.
Is that a topic?
No, you straight.
So those who watch NFL, the Raheem Moore of the NBA is Festus Ezeli. But if it's anything like what happened in the NFL, the Warriors will be back and they'll win a championship and Peyton Manning will retire. So don't worry about it.
Wow.
So, I mean, in the last decade, let's say, the Warriors team that just came up, I mean, with Kevin Durant on it, is that the best team?
That's probably the best team in NBA history right now.
In history?
Yeah.
You got 2 MVPs on the team.
Yeah.
Everyone's in their prime. 4 All-Stars.
God damn.
That might be the best team in NBA history. Because the only other team I think that could compete with them is the Lakers with Magic and Kareem and Worthy in the mid '80s, and then maybe Bird and McHale, Robert Parrish. But that team's backcourt was kind of iffy. I think that Laker team by far is probably the most put together team that could accommodate the talent on the Thunder. I mean on the Warriors.
Okay, I have an idea. What if the NBA limited you to only 2 All-Stars? So if you have over 2 All-Stars on your team and they developed into All-Stars on your team, you can keep them obviously and re-sign them. But if you have over 2 All-Stars on your team, or if you have 2 or more All-Stars on your team, you can't pick up another in free agency. Is that a crazy rule?
I mean,
how does that make things fair?
What's the requisite for an All-Star then?
To be on the All-Star team?
Yeah, All-Star team. But no,
be on the All-Star team?
Being the All-Star team in like the last 2 to 3 years, so like not like 10 years ago.
But even I don't know. Me personally, I think that what they should have did, and is just something that they easily just could have done to prevent this from happening. When the cap went up as high as it just went up, when it just went to some fucking astronomical level, everybody else's salary should have went up to correlate with how high the cap went up. Because when the cap goes up that high, and nobody else who's already signed before the cap, they don't get adjusted correctly, then anybody can do this, and that can really happen in the next 2 or 3 years, because you have so many players who signed before the cap went up that they're being highly underpaid, and so you can fit certain players that are making between $15 to $20 million, who are MVP caliber players, all on the same team. So it might happen, you know.
I hope they do something to limit it, because at this point, that the Chris Paul, LeBron, Wade, and Bosh and Melo team that actually exclude Bosch, team that we've been hearing about that sounded like impossibility. I mean, after that Kevin Durant move, I feel like they would actually put that shit together come next season, man. So
They need to.
I think that's going to be
I think it'd be fun to
impossible.
see him play, to be honest, but I mean, what does that mean for the rest of the NBA? I mean, if they all chill with the Raptors, I'm cool, but if they do it on any other team, no other team stands a chance. That's just how it is. It'd be a 2-team league at that point.
It would be. It'd be a 2-team league, and that shit would be terrible to watch.
Yeah.
I'm happy though. My Lakers are trying to rebuild within the middle of this madness, so I wasn't expecting us to win anytime soon.
You know they're gonna mess up the rebuild somehow. Did you hear some of the trade offers? Some of the trade offers.
Once they get that Westbrook,
if they trade for Westbrook, they need to jump off the nearest building.
How is that crazy if they trade for Westbrook? It depends on what they give up for Westbrook.
He has a year left on his contract.
nah, but obviously he's
he
going to
said
be
he gonna
coming
stay.
to signing.
That's what I'm saying. He said he's gonna stay. That's
Okay, so
You
you're
wouldn't
gonna
trade for Westbrook
send
unless
all of that
commit.
talent to OKC
what's all of
good
that
faith.
talent? What is it? What is all of that talent?
because you're gonna have to give up D'Angelo or Ingram and some picks.
Would
Well, if you give me up D'Angelo.
You give, yeah, I'm saying you give an Ingram, then no. D'Angelo can fucking go. But if you're giving up Ingram,
So D'Angelo and 2 first-round picks for Russell Westbrook.
how far down the line are these 2 first-round picks? If these 2 first-round picks are like 4 years down the line, yeah, fuck
And
it.
they're likely to be like what, top 5 protected maybe?
No, fuck it. They can get the 2. They can get the 2 first-round picks and 4 years down the line. That's cool. That's what I don't give a
You're
fuck about
gonna
that.
do that in good faith that Westbrook would resign. That is the most reckless decision you can make with an organization.
I mean,
That's what
he
got
would
them into the
commit.
situation they're in now. It's
I
just
mean, no, you would
reckless
have to. You
decision.
just have to commit, though. I mean, of course, and that's the thing that's what's messed up about OKC right now. I don't know what they're going to do because the only way that they're going to have to get something out of Westbrook is if they trade him within this season, and the only way they're going to be able to trade him within the season is that they're going to have to undersell him because he's an expiring contract. So they're not going to get back the value of Westbrook, and I think they know that.
You know what they can do though? They can re-sign him since they do have bird rights. I don't know when the contract
he has
extension.
to say okay to resigning though.
I know, and then now that he's re-signed for 3 or 4 years, now a lot of teams are going to want him. So if you're really looking to
But
get
then
a
what's
lot
the
of,
point of trading him then?
Exactly.
that's a good point. But I'm saying like people do sign and trades all the time, and so
You do sign and trades because the money can make sense, but the cap is about to go up again, another 10+ million. So again,
that
everybody's going to
changed.
have the money to pay for them.
That's the
So that's what I'm
prediction.
saying. They're in.
The
they're in
projected
a
cap
tough
changed
situation.
again, by the way. I don't know if it's going to go up like that anymore. Who was it?
I
Sujay
just-
sent me
but
an
I just
article
know the
saying
cap
that it
is
might
gonna-
go down.
But I'm just
Anyway.
saying that the cap. I mean, the cap is going to go up again, though. That's what I'm saying. And so they shouldn't take a. They're going to take a major risk on hoping that he's okay with a sign and trade. I don't know, man.
Because
I don't know
yo,
about
he
that.
doesn't have value if you're. There's no team that wants Westbrook for only 1 year unless they really believe they have a shot at a championship.
So you're gonna hold Westbrook and hope that he's going to agree with a signing trade at the end of his contract?
Are you gonna trade him? I mean, even if you trade him, believe me,
You have to do
the
something for him.
I know, but say, okay, let's do this. You trade Westbrook. The fans are pissed off because, fans never fucking pay attention or to anything. They're just mad that the
Yeah.
player left and they didn't get any immediate return back. So you pissed off the fan base, and now you're in official rebuild mode. And they have the players necessary to rebuild. They just got Oladipo. They have Steven Adams. So, I mean, they have a good core. I don't know, to be honest. You know what I think is going to happen? I think they're going to ask for a lot and then realize that no one's going to be willing to give up that much, and they're just not going to get shit back for Westbrook. That's what happens.
What they're going to take an L.
They will
They're
take
going
an
to take an
L.
L then, bro. That's what you.
And it
That's
doesn't
crazy.
even if you know Westbrook has a chance of coming into your team, why even trade a young asset?
Exactly.
For what?
That's a good point.
And they're
'Cause
going to be fucked.
If they can trade Westbrook for some young guys, that team's going to be in good standing. Really, really good standing.
The only team the only scenario that a team could be in on trading Westbrook is if they're on a team that has a possibility to win this year or at least make a major push this year, and they need to free up cap for the offseason as well.
And it's also a team that's going to
And I don't know what team it is, though.
that's like in need of a point guard. There's not a lot of teams that don't already have an established point guard.
Kyle Lowry for Russell Westbrook.
Why would the Raptors do that?
Why not?
Because they know Lowry's going to resign if he comes to the Raptors.
He's a top 5 player in the league.
Top five.
DeRozan just re-signed with the understanding that Lowry was going to be there. So you don't want to fuck up that
fuck
deal.
Lowry, nigga. If it's a Kyle Lowry for LeBron James, they take that a heartbeat. Fuck Lowry.
But that's not the trade. Wouldn't be straight up Westbrook for Lowry. The trade would be we'll take Lowry and T. Ross and a couple first rounds.
Well, the Raptors weren't going to accept that because there'd be no point to that.
And OKC wouldn't want that because Lowry only has 2 years on his contract, so he likely wouldn't stay.
It doesn't matter what OKC does. OKC's going to lose no matter what.
That's what it sounds like.
OKC's going to take a massive up because I'm going through the teams right now, and all the teams that needed a point guard, they got a point guard now. Because like New York, they got their point guard in Derrick Rose. Brooklyn got Jeremy Lin, even though they could upgrade, but I don't think they want to take a risk on that. Utah has George Hill. What's the team? Pacers got to upgrade in Jeff Teague. I mean, you can make the push for Russell Westbrook, but man, I don't know of a team that really needs a point guard so much that they're willing to give away assets for the possibility to have a rental on Russell Westbrook. And so OKC is looking like they're going to take a massive L, and they probably will never be able to recover from this shit.
Well, they'll recover. They will. There's 0% chance they'll get back what Westbrook's worth. If they were going to trade him, they should have done it last year, but his value
is there though? Is there a chance that OKC is going to recover from this? Because I don't think they will. I think that this is something.
They still have a lot of young players on that team, even with Durant and Westbrook gone.
Do they have a lot of young players? I
got like 2 or 3.
That's what I'm saying. And none of them are like transcending players. Like all of them are just like.
I mean, they got Cameron Payne who shows upside. They got Steven Adams. They just traded away Serge Ibaka to get Victor Oladipo on the squad. They just lost Dion Waiters, thank God, because he didn't know what he was doing there.
But what do those players do though? That's what I'm asking. Like, what are those? How are those players so good that it's going to attract?
No, they're not that good, but it's players you can begin to start building around. So I mean, young talent's going to want to play around young talent. So even if the team does bad, then you get a good pick and you can build from there. They still have their picks, if I'm not mistaken. So
hopefully
it should be good.
Because I actually don't think that organization and management team is that good. I think that organization is highly overrated, just because they drafted KD, Westbrook, and James Harden.
They didn't draft KD.
Oh shit!
You know what I'm saying?
Isn't they look at the topics though? Oh, I see you.
All right.
But if you go back and you look at the how they drafted, all of those players were the next best players up anyway. So it's not like they should get credit for having those players on those teams. So I don't know how good of a draft, how good of players did they actually draft.
No, but they do it. The Oklahoma City, and San Antonio have some of the best scouts in the NBA.
But who did they draft that was like a really good steal?
Everybody past Durant.
Who?
All right, let me just Google this because I don't know off memory. OKC.
Because Westbrook wasn't a steal. He was the next best point guard. James Harden wasn't a steal. He was literally the next best player up. Serge Ibaka was not a steal. He was again the next player up. I go back and I look at their draft picks. Even players that they picked, like
all right, take a look at this. So Kevin Durant was Seattle, Sasha Kwon, Seattle. So they got Serge Ibaka, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Quincy Pondexter, Eric Bledsoe, Reggie Jackson, Perry Jones, Steven Adams, Mitch McGarry. So those are, I guess, the highlights.
So Reggie Jackson and Steven Adams. Those are the only 2 players.
Bledsoe
was assigned. He was traded. He was traded immediately. He wasn't on that team.
I know, but that's as if they signed him. If it's a draft night.
I thought I might be mistaken. But I thought that was always the Clippers pick, and I thought they just traded. I don't know.
In the 2010 draft, and he was subsequently traded to the Clippers. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That is true. Well, that draft was pretty.
I guess they fucked that one up then.
But I don't know. When I look at who they drafted and I looked at like who they should have taken and what they actually took, I don't know. Everything's kind of up in the air because even the young players that they have on the team, they don't really give them minutes. Like Reggie Jackson is a borderline all-star player, and they didn't have the temerity to put Russell Westbrook at 2, which he should be playing two guard anyway. So I don't know. It's weird.
Man, just because a point guard doesn't get a lot of assists doesn't mean he shouldn't be a point guard, bro.
No, he should play. He should play shooting guard though.
He should play some shooting guard.
Nah. He should play point guard.
But you don't think him and Reggie Jackson shouldn't have been on the court at the same time though?
I mean, he can play shooting guard. I don't think that should be his primary position though.
I'm not saying it has to be his primary, but they were like playing Reggie Jackson as if like he wasn't good. Like they were just like, no, stay on the bench, nigga, because we got Westbrook.
I mean, it's the same thing with James Harden. They put him on the bench. You're 6th man.
I don't know. I just look at what they've done, and it's been kind of shaky.
Yeah, I think they're around 12th to 15th in terms of like top managed teams, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I think we accidentally hit those topics, like all of them. So we'll move on to the next one. Dwayne Wade went to the Bulls. So we need to rename this podcast the I Told You So podcast, because once again, Agent Zero was right. I said in that Derrick Rose video.
How are you right about Wade?
What? Are you serious?
No, I didn't call Wade. But I did call that Derrick Rose trade was fucking phenomenal, and people were overreacting.
Whoa.
Because that Derrick Rose trade, the one thing I said, I didn't care who was traded to the Bulls. All I knew was that their contracts would be infinitely easier to move than Derrick Rose's. And by that logic, they dished Jose Calderon and made room for Rondo and Wade. So what now?
Is Rondo and Wade a good pickup though?
That's a great pickup because
I'll take that. You're right. Those are great players. But on that team and what they're trying to do, does that make any sense for them to pick those players up?
Yes, it does. The Bulls just rescinded. They just took Jimmy Butler off the block. This was a team that I thought should have blown up, as in like they should have blew everything up and started going for the draft again since they lost Rose and Jimmy Butler. They signed him to a 5-year deal, so he has a lot of value. But they found a way to build talent around Jimmy Butler. Kind of like how I thought Paul George would be traded, but Larry Bird found a way to put talent around Paul George. So I think both of those teams had phenomenal off seasons. So shout out to the Bulls. I don't know if they knew what they were doing when they fired Tom Thibs, but they definitely knew what they were doing this off season, man. They grabbed some talent. Even if it doesn't work out, those guys have trade value, so they can just move them.
I'm not sure they have trade value at that price they're asking for.
Well, I don't know if Rondo does. I'm pretty sure Rondo's like a 2-year contract, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wade's a 2-year contract too, but he probably has to opt out.
You're right. So
I don't know. I think that just defeats the purpose of what they were trying to do, because I thought the whole purpose of what they were trying to do was rebuild. I didn't like getting 2 old guards that are past their prime on a team, because I don't know what you're going to get out of Wade, but getting 2 older guards that are past their prime that can't shoot, which is what Fred Hoiberg wants on that team, is players who can shoot and stretch the floor. I don't see their value. I don't understand.
All right, let me give you this analogy. It's analogy time. Let's say that I walk over.
God awful. Geez.
Let's say I walk over to the Pokemon gym, right?
Oh,
and I use a couple of my Pokemons, and this one my favorite Pokemon, right? It's about to die. And I'm like, wow, maybe I should just trade him out with another, like a Pikachu, for example. I don't want my Pokemon to die, but instead I give him a potion that gives him 50 health. That's what they did. They just gave the team a potion. They gave the team a little bit of health, because what they were gonna do was blow everything up and start over again with the new Pokemon. But they said, let's give life to this one here and see if he can make it through this battle. So
is it life, or is it just a sense of
beating a dead horse?
Exactly.
Is it a dead horse, though?
It's denial.
It's dead.
It's denial.
Okay, here's what I realized. I realized that if you have a great player with potential like Paul George or Jimmy Butler to a long-term contract, even if things aren't looking up, you have a great possibility to turn things around just whether through trades or through free agency. Because in my mind, I thought they have to blow it up. But these are 2 teams that have done great offseason. They just pick people up. We don't know if the Pacers are going to work out, but what they did was grab talent, and that's all the Bulls did, is they grabbed talent. Slightly older talent, so maybe that one, but
I just think I think you starting to like dip back into the denial phase, because honestly, if they really wanted to, because I think they'll be in a better situation if they traded Jimmy Butler to the what's that team called, to the Celtics, got a draft pick out of it. Picked up one of the Brooklyn draft picks for Jimmy Butler, swap that out. Now they could have 2 picks that are probably going to be top 10 in his next upcoming draft, which some people have said there are plenty of great players in his next season draft, and then start all the way over with young players like Bobby Portis, Mirotic, Doug McDermott, Tony Snell, and the 2 players you picked in this upcoming draft, and then Denzel Valentine, who you just picked up in this draft. At that point, you have, I just named 8 young guys, and you can really start all the way over. When you do this, you're holding on to something that, again, you can't materialize nothing out of that. Them picking up Rondo and Wade for probably a year or two does not push them in a situation to be better than the Cavs, or even come close to the Cavs, or be better than Toronto. I don't think they're better than the Celtics. I don't think they're better than Atlanta. They're still a 5th, 6th seed at best in the East. So again, is that a good thing, or do they just need to completely rebuild?
No, but that's something you can build on, though. That's an attractive place for people to go. Now they go, wow, Dwayne Wade plays there? Well, wait, hold up. Rondo plays there?
Nobody's not going to go play with no 34, 35-year-old Dwayne Wade. Stop.
Bro, no, trust me. The way Wade played in the playoffs last year, people want to play with that guy.
What does it matter if you have Rondo, Wade, and Butler already? Who's going to go there now? Who's going there?
Dude, all I know is that it's not.
Please say somebody who's going there. Please, just name them.
It's not all going to happen in 1 year. That's what I know. This year, what did you expect? They had enough young guys for them to do a rebuild and successfully come back from it. But they also had a great player on a long-term contract, and they thought, yo, let's buy in. It's like when you're playing poker and you just lost a little bit of money. You're like, like when you're playing poker.
You say I'm contradicting right now, because if that's the case, why didn't they just buy into Derrick Rose?
Because you can't buy into somebody who's not healthy every other season.
He played 66 games last season.
And that was the first season out of the last 4 where he was healthy.
He looked way better. He looked way better at the end of the year. And Zach, you said the same thing about Rondo as well. But he looked way better at the end of the year. And you might as well buy into Derrick Rose, because the reward was going to be way higher than the risk of taking a simple as Robin Lopez and Jose Calderon.
No, those contracts are easy to move. There was a value there. It wasn't because the players.
They moved one. They still have Robin Lopez. What are you talking about?
Because they need him to play center. If they moved him, they would need a center in return.
They only moved one of those contracts.
What center are they going to get back with his contract right now until the rest of the league catches up? They're going to get Omer Asik?
They could have signed a 5-year stop. You tripping? How many 5s were just moving around this year? They could have signed Bismack Biyombo.
You know how much he got paid? They don't have that kind of money.
They would have had it if they
didn't pay $15 million for Bismack. That's out of your fucking mind. He should be $10 million is how much Bismack should be getting paid.
You're crazy, yo. Because they're signing 15. Well, how much Robin Lopez making? Because they're spending $12, $13 million on the center right now anyway.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I don't know. All I know is
my God,
Bismack hasn't proven himself. I think everybody in the world has only seen him in the playoffs. I think if you're a Raptor fan, you've seen him throughout the season, so you know he's not worth that much. We'll pass, but it was nice having him on the team.
They have a whole bunch of team. That's their whole team, or at least a good part of their team is a whole bunch of talent.
I think you're going too hard on the Bulls. Trust me, they made good moves this year. They'll build on it either trade deadline or next year. That's what I know.
What you guys
should have just tanked, man.
Yeah, they should have tanked.
They have their whole bench is young players. That's their whole bench.
That's true. That's true. But maybe this will give them an opportunity to play with some veterans and develop. So
veterans are not taking minutes.
I know, but I mean, how much are they going to develop in 2 years anyway? Because Wade and Rondo are only there for 2 years.
And so, what's the point then? What was the point of putting Wade and Rondo on that team?
Listen, I don't know what the point was. All I know is they had. I don't agree with them doing that. I think they would have had much more success if they rebuilt. I just know that it wasn't a terrible decision for them to buy in on Jimmy Butler because he's a great player and you can build a team around him. Derrick Rose wasn't that guy.
I think it is a terrible decision.
And Rondo's that guy?
No.
You don't know yet because they haven't played together.
I know, man.
Not.
And then you add Dwayne Wade,
who can't shoot as well.
What are y'all talking about?
First of all, unless they put Mirotic in the starting lineup, their whole starting lineup is a bunch of not really good shooters.
Exactly. He said not really good. He said not really. I mean, there's no excellent shooter on that starting five. You're gonna have a starting lineup that looks like it should play in the 1985 NBA Finals than somebody who should be playing in 2017.
I think you guys are severely overrating, overrating the three-point shot. You guys are acting like as if you don't have a three-point shooting team, then you stand no chance in the NBA. That's false.
How's that false?
It's not false though.
You don't need a 3-point shooting team to win.
But it's not like Wade and fucking Rondo are shooting mid-range is good either.
What are you talking about? That's Wade's spot. It's his mid-range.
You're bugging, agent. Because in what world, what basketball have you seen in the past 5 years now where a 3-point shooting team didn't go far in the playoffs?
Because there's no team that doesn't shoot threes that came together and built a super team, you know?
Because there's no such thing. There's not going to be no super team of players who can't shoot threes, agent. There's just not. It's not going to happen.
Because most players can shoot threes, and I understand that, but I'm saying that's not a necessity for you to succeed in the NBA.
Yes, it is. It is. I don't know why you don't.
No, it's not.
And on top of that, Jimmy Butler shot 31% from three. So, no, he's not a good 3-point shooter neither. That team cannot stretch the floor. That team cannot space. And
wait, he shot 31?
31. So
that's
that
DeMar DeRozan. I'm gonna take that.
And so that the whole
shooter.
He's not a 3-point shooter, and the whole purpose of getting rid of Derrick Rose was to, one, to of course change their identity, but two, to allow Fred Hoiberg to introduce his system with the young players, which is spacing the floor. That's why they have Mirotic, that's why they have Doug McDermott, and that's why they have Tony Snell.
Those are all players that were drafted in the Thibs era. It's not like Fred Hoiberg was talking to Thib at the time like, hey, draft this because I'm going to take your job in a couple of years.
But all of those players fit in what Fred Hoiberg is trying to do, though.
But how do you know that's what he's trying to do, though? Did he talk to you?
His system is a 3-point faster pace system.
I don't understand what you're saying.
So you're telling me that the coach...
Even Jimmy Butler's came out and said he doesn't like the way that Fred Hoiberg coaches because he's so intent on shooting threes and how he's actually exactly what you're saying, how everything isn't based off 3-point shooting. You need to integrate offense more than what 3-point shooting is. He said the exact same thing that you're saying. And I understand what both of y'all are saying. What I'm saying is this team won't succeed. I don't even think this team will make the playoffs because it makes no sense for you to put a team with Rondo and D-Wade in the backcourt, 2 undersized guards who don't really play defense, who aren't that good, and especially at their point of their careers. Jimmy Butler should have been traded to the Boston Celtics for a draft pick, and then you would have had Denzel Valentine, Tony Snell, all them other young guys, tank this year, get a high draft pick. You would have had 2 top 10 draft picks this year, and you rebuild after that. This is just prolonging the rebuilding situation because they're going to have to rebuild.
That's what it is.
I don't think. Well, now that they've done this, if it doesn't work out with those 2 players,
it's not going to.
And Jimmy Butler has 3 years left on his contract. They don't have a lot of room to rebuild with, so they would have to trade him away almost that year. So I mean, once you wait, if a player has 2 years left on their contract, value plummets. If they have 1 year left, you get the Westbrook effect. And absolutely nobody fucking wants them unless it's a championship team that somehow happens to have cap space, which is incredibly unlikely.
So what do they need to do to succeed before you can accept the fact that they need to rebuild? Because
I mean, I was the first fucking person to say they should rebuild. I was the first person to say Jimmy Butler should move and Rose should move. I'm just saying the other side of the argument is very valid. And I see that if you want to go all in with Jimmy Butler, I understand that. I still think the best move was to rebuild. They still have their fucking draft picks. They could have lost games, moved Jimmy Butler, developed their guys, and they should have did what the Timberwolves did. But it's very unlikely that you can end up, getting the first overall pick in a Wiggins-type draft class. And so maybe they didn't want to take that risk. Maybe they didn't want to walk into a weak draft class with the 7th overall pick because that's risky too. So you talk about risk in picking up those free agents. There's risk in keeping your pick as well. And so they just weighed the odds and thought, wow, maybe we should go for these free agents. And I'm sure those probably weren't their first picks. They probably had other.
What do you think? All I'm saying is, what do they gain from picking up Rose and Wade? I mean, not Rose, Rondo and Wade. Because in my opinion, that's a team that didn't make the playoffs last year, and I don't think they're going to make it this year neither. So
they'll be top 6 this year. What are you talking about?
Top 6?
Top 6 is crazy. You're crazy.
You're crazy. What teams do you think they're better than?
You want me to go through all the fucking teams right now?
I'll say it. The Cavs are better. The Boston is better. Atlanta's better. Raptors are better.
Is Atlanta better though?
How are they not better?
It's basically almost the same team except
they lost Jeff Teague. They lost Horford. They got Dwight. They lost Kent Bazemore.
So they basically
they didn't lose.
No, they have Kent Bazemore.
They still have Kent.
Oh, they could. I keep forgetting that shit. Yeah, you're right.
The only person they lost was Teague, and that's it. And he was injured last year, and they still made the playoffs. They're not better.
We'll see.
They're not better than the Pacers, so that's already 5 teams right there. And then the Knicks, that's 6. That team will be fighting. That team will be fighting.
They're not even better than they might not even be better than the Pistons. Who knows?
I don't think they're better than the Pistons either. But you're talking about a team that if they make the playoffs, that's a 7th or 8th seed. And what does that do for you?
If they don't make the playoffs, I'll feel really fucking bad for all the Bulls fans.
They might not. They might not.
Yo, because I for sure, at the very least, I just named 5 teams that were for sure better than them. Now, like you said, the Knicks, that's up in the air. I don't know how that's gonna work out neither. But I for sure just named 5 teams that are better than them, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how things pan out. And you always want to keep in mind that D-Wade's not gonna be playing all season. He'll be taking some days out throughout the year. No, I'm trying to present all the arguments.
I think Rondo, that locker room going to be insane, man.
It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be insane.
That nigga Rondo going to be yelling at everybody telling him, you ain't going to tell me how to fucking run that point guard, nigga. Looking at Fred Hoyberg sideways, boy, that nigga Rondo going to act a fool in that locker room, bro.
Man, all right.
That nigga D-Wade going to be clapping for the ball like, nigga, give me the ball. He's like, yo, I need an assist, so watch out, old nigga.
I don't think D-Wade cares anymore. He just wanted the money.
Yeah, that nigga D-Wade don't care no more.
Let's try and speed this up a little bit. And D-Wade deserves that money, by the way. He took way too many picks in his career.
Fuck that nigga Pat Riley.
Facts. So the Heat re-signed Whiteside and lost literally everybody else. So shout out to the Heat. Any thoughts?
Fuck Pat Riley.
Well, Pat Riley, he's a smart man. He got D-Wade. You got D-Wade and I'm putting over Thomas.
Pat Riley eat a bag of dicks. That nigga's wild.
They offered Dwayne Wade $10 million a year. You know who else is getting paid $10 million a year? Jordan Clarkson's getting paid $10 million a year. You know who's getting paid more than him? Kent Bazemore. Come on, bro. That's a
smart move, though.
No, you don't even fucking offer a contract if you're gonna offer that low to a player like Dwayne Wade.
They had to offer a contract, though.
No, they didn't. They shouldn't have offered $10 million. They should have just said, "No, we don't want you."
That's what I'm saying. Just if you don't want him, just tell him we don't want you. We ain't fucking with you no more.
It's just disrespectful, bro.
Exactly, but now it's like, now he could say I offer him a contract though. So you can't say I didn't offer him any contract. That's how you get people.
I mean, but no, don't offer him $10 million.
That doesn't even count as a contract. That doesn't count.
Yeah, that should be like the money he should have got tipped for getting cut out of money for the past 13 years of his career, bro.
Wade literally deserves 1% of the Heat organization. 1%. That's a whole lot of money. He deserves that much because he made them a lot more than that. So
shout out to this nigga legendary EA in the chat. I see you, boy.
Oh, he's in the chat. I see you, EA. But Whiteside was the first person to resign, and he's like, wait, Tyler Johnson's not coming back. Wait, Wade's not coming back. Wait, I'm fucking left with Dragic. So I feel bad for Whiteside. Everybody abandoned him. At least he's getting his money. He got that max.
True.
I was wrong about Whiteside. I thought he'd go to Portland for some reason.
I kept telling you and Nick, there ain't nobody who wants to go play in Oregon. I don't know why y'all think. And maybe because y'all are foreigners, so y'all don't know where Portland is. Nobody doesn't want to go play in Portland, nigga. Nobody doesn't want to go in there.
Nah, that's Rip City, though.
Nobody gonna play over there, nigga. As soon as Dame contract is up,
it's a beautiful place. Trust me, I saw the University of Oregon. I saw around their campus. Woof!
Stop.
It looks stunning.
Stop.
It looks stunning, man.
Rip City.
So the Pistons re-signed Drummond. That's great. So he's not gonna be a free agent. That's a safe way to do it, and that kind of keeps the franchise intact and what they're trying to do. So Drummond's getting that max money, is it?
Yeah,
max. Yeah.
All right, so he's getting that max money. So shout out to Drummond.
True.
Raptors signed DeRozan, which was expected. So shout out to all the idiots who said he wouldn't resign. I just want to tell you, I told you so. Once again.
Nobody didn't want that nigga anyway.
Yeah, I don't know why they wanted him, but he re-signed with the Raptors. And they also signed Sullinger to replace Luis Scola. So that was an awesome signing right there to fill in at the power forward spot. Someone who can shoot the threes.
Whoa,
Sullinger just shoot threes. Whoa.
Trust me. I had him on my fantasy team.
Trust you?
I don't know about this.
I'm about to look it up
right now.
Go look it up and then tell me.
Hey, you might be right. Because I sure as fuck wasn't watching.
I'm 100% right, bro.
28%? Kill yourself.
I had him on the fantasy team. He got at least 1 or 2
What does that mean?
28%? Stop, nigga. Stop. What does it matter about shooting threes, though? Like you just sat there and said, you can't base your whole your whole what you call it around shooting threes, right? That
No,
nigga
but
stop.
Luis Scola. Well, check Luis Scola's percentage because last year that guy shot like an absolute butt cheek.
Stop, nigga.
That shit must be like 20. Please check Luis Scola. I'm curious.
This nigga shot 43% from the field and 28% from three, agent. That's Jared Sullinger.
Anyway, he has a lot of upside. I really like him. But I really want to give you guys Luis Scola's stats because that's the guy they replaced him with.
You're right though. I think Jared Sullinger, because I was very questioning what Boston was going to do with Sullinger, because I thought he was a pretty solid player. So I didn't understand.
Nope.
I knew they weren't going to
Nope.
What?
Luis Scola did not shoot 40%. That's a fucking lie. I watched those Raptor games.
That
Every
nigga shot
came out of
40%.
That's a fucking lie. I believe
No, I'm
me.
looking at it right now. I'm looking at it, agent.
Yo, look at the year before, though. Look at the year before. Look at the year before.
Look how many he shot the year before, agent. He shot 0.2 3-pointers a game. This year, last year he shot 2 3-pointers a game and made basically 1 a game. Stop.
He was so ass, it was crazy. Yo,
Agent,
every
I'm
fucking
looking at
week-
it.
No,
Agent, I'm looking at it, agent. You can't lie to me.
No, but let me give you some
nigga,
context for someone who actually watches the games. Every time he shot a 3, he was wide, the absolute fuck open, like nobody in sight. So I'm telling you, like when Patterson shoots 3s, he often shoots them contested because he's a good shooter. Luis Scola is all the way open. Like those are practice
Scola's not even really a 3-point shooter. I don't understand why y'all made him a 3-point shooter.
Well, I mean, Bosch wasn't a 3-point shooter. Then he left Toronto and became.
But Bosch wasn't 35 years old when he did that, though. So
Damn, so y'all really got no shooting in that lineup then.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
What are you talking about us?
well, Kyle Lowry, when
I'm
he
talking
goes
about you.
Kyle Lowry was in the 3-point contest. T. Ross, he's an awesome shooter. Although inconsistent. DeMario Carroll has been consistent this year. Patrick Patterson, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they have
You starting Patterson? I'm talking about the starting lineup, by the way.
Patterson was starting last year, but
Patterson.
likely Sullinger's going to start. Actually,
I don't know about that. No.
knowing Dwayne Casey, Patterson's probably still going to start.
I don't know about that.
Anyway,
I don't think Jared Sullinger's that good.
Raptors were incredibly quiet this offseason. Sullinger's at least like a 76 overall, so
He's a good pickup. He's a good pickup. He's a good young guy. I like the pickup.
I'll take him over Scola. Wizards re-signed Bradley Beal. I think for a little too much, but I mean they couldn't risk losing him, and
Because they're fucking stupid. They about to be top five worst winning organization in this league.
Yo, they spent so many years trying to get Durant. They just started fucking hiring family members of Durant just to try and get him on the team. And they realized like mid-season last year that they stood no chance. That was hilarious, man.
They offered Wanda his mom a fucking receptionist job and shit. They were like, oh, you can
They got his high school coach.
I'm gonna get this check. Ask his second cousin to come on be the ball boy.
Oh,
Niggas gonna have a family reunion at every practice they ran in Washington. Them niggas is wild.
Facts. So Lakers with the question about signing Mozgov, I think it was a 4-year, $64 million. But they tagged Deng and they managed to re-sign Clark for cheap. So Lakers is off. Yeah, really cheap. So the Lakers, did they do well this offseason?
They did hella good this year.
They did half good, half bad.
The Mozgov was a tad bit too much. I agree with you. But that nigga Clarkson, I don't know what that nigga Clarkson sipping over in LA. But the fact that he agreed to that small ass contract is crazy.
He just wants to be a Laker.
True. I can't blame him. That nigga D'Angelo looking too nice in summer league too. That nigga too cold.
Too cold, right?
Too cold. And then
And that guy Baron Davis is looking great in the Drew League.
Stop. And then we got what's his name? Larry Nance Jr. looking good in summer league too. I'm out here watching summer league games for y'all people who don't think I'm a real fan out here.
I can't watch Summer League for my life. But I know the Raptors are undefeated in Summer League. Hey.
That don't mean, man. Fuck that shit.
Wow. Well, you hate because you ain't got no rookies over there because you ain't got no draft picks?
Oh, no, we got rookies. We got Ron Baker and Chasen Randall. I don't know what you talking about.
Oh, yeah. Hold the L.
But it's not Ingram, though.
It's not Ingram, but he's playing better than Ingram. Oh, got him, coach.
But it's not Puerto, though. I don't know how to say that guy's name. How do you see that guy's name that the Raptors signed?
It's not Zubac, nigga. Exactly.
That sounds like a
How
hockey
about
player.
Zubac?
Or Pokemon.
That nigga off the court.
No, I tagged Zubat. I tagged like 12 Zubats today, actually.
Zubac, this dude that LA picked up, too nice in the second round. I don't know. He might just look good because he's playing against rookies, but that nigga look too nice.
Thanks. Shout out to the D-League All-Stars who lost by 20 to a Summer League team. The D-League is just straight booty.
Is Jimmy Fredette still out there? That nigga for that balling though, right?
Yeah, man. He's been for his whole career in the summer league, yo.
Who are you talking about?
Jimmy Fredette?
Oh, that nigga need to stop.
Yeah.
Shout out to this man Michael Beasley, who been in the league for like 10 years. But he's still going on the summer league games. Well,
He went to China, came back, and he's still in summer league games.
Still in summer league games. That's crazy. Never seen that in my life.
Oh man. All right, so the Knicks are up next. They managed to sign Joakim Noah for $18 million a year. Is that David Lee? David Lee?
What?
Courtney Lee.
Huh?
Courtney.
And Brandon Jennings.
God
and
damn.
I don't know what Thomas that is. There's like 12 Thomas in the league, bro. But they had a pretty active offseason. The Knicks managed to make a lot of improvements to the team. A lot. So what do y'all think?
I'll give them a B+, A if Derrick Rose is healthy. But it all depends on where Derrick Rose is. But Courtney Lee, that was a really good signing. Crazy enough, Brandon Jennings, like me and Agent was talking about in the video, $5 million, right? That's what they gave him, $5 million?
Yes, sir.
Yep, so that was what the amount of money that we were talking about throwing around, and then they signed Vucevic. Sasha Vucevic. Jesus Christ. They signed Sasha also to a minimum as well, so like we said as well. So they had enough money to fill out the roster, and the roster looks pretty good right now. But I give them a B+, and it'll turn into an A depending on how Derrick Rose plays.
Well, you guys know in the video if you watched, I gave them a B, all depending on health. I'd say an A signing would be if the Knicks got someone like Wade or Kevin Durant. That's the only way you get an A in the offseason, unless you make really drastic changes. But overall, they did a good job, of course. Courtney Lee, a really solid player. Both two-way player, doesn't really need the ball, unselfish player, a guy that loves to play in the locker room. Joakim Noah's another locker room guy. Even Jennings for 1 year, $5 million. Now, I'm not sure if he's gonna come back next season, but for 1 year for $5 million for a guy that used to put up 15 points per game, coming off a torn Achilles tendon, he seems healthy. Seems like another good signing for just $5 million. Then Lance Thomas shot 40% from three. Played pretty good before the injuries and before Derek Fisher got fired. So if we can get that Lance Thomas, Knicks are gonna be a really solid team. And then we got these guys. We already still got the bench there. Whatchamacallit? Fuck.
The bench depth?
Who's that again? Oh yeah. We got
Justin Holiday
from the Bulls.
That was a good pick.
Of course, the Derrick Rose trades. And we still got, Porzingis. And the thing about this, everyone has something to prove himself on his team. Courtney Lee's, he's obviously there. He's a good player. But Jennings wants to prove himself. Rose obviously wants to prove himself. Joakim Noah still is out there. Oh, he's already training. Of course, Carmelo Anthony's already training with Joakim Noah, and he's playing in the Olympics, so he's going to be fresh off the Olympic condition. Porzingis is already getting stronger. So everyone's already, they're already training and do good. So it seems like it could be a lit season, man. And if it doesn't work out, well, we're going to have cap space next year. And if it doesn't work out with Carmelo Anthony, well, by the time that Carmelo Anthony's off the team, it's going to be pretty young and just Porzingis there, and we're going to have our draft picks anyway. So all in all, whatever happens, it's going to work out.
I don't know how you guys do B+ is too low. That's a lot of very low risk moves they did, but very high rewards. So that got to be at least an A- or an A. The Knicks made
way too low. You went one letter up. Jesus
or an
Christ.
A because there's very low risk involved with D Rose. If he leaves, you got cap for next year. Next year, when the caps can go up a little bit next year, and D Rose leaves, that means you can tag potentially a nice player. So they might be in the market, especially if they perform well next season, for a big free agent.
Carlo one was good. Who said, whoever said that in the chat, it's still.
It would have been an A to me if they would have got a wing defender that could guard LeBron, because
Courtney Lee
that could guard LeBron. I'll say it again. So again, because
it's like two players that can guard LeBron in the NBA, man.
You're not stopping, but at least be a presence there. I don't know if Carmelo. He's probably gonna be up to the task, but it is what it is. But it's like Waffle said though, man. They playing. They already ready to go, man. Joakim Noah's practicing. I saw those drills that him and Melo was running. And Carmelo, of course, he's been playing in Rio, so he's gonna be trying to stay in shape. Derrick Rose has a lot to prove, so I think this team actually will make the playoffs. I think you laughed that off earlier, Agent. But I think this team will make the playoffs. Yeah.
The Knicks? Oh yeah, they'll make the playoffs. They'll like be maybe a 7
Oh
or
no,
6.
they better make and they better be a top 6 seed. Otherwise, they better blow this shit up real quick. I don't got time for this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I ain't got time for this. Carmelo Anthony's gonna be come out fresh from that Olympic condition.
All right. Well, Celtics signed Al Horford, and they were going for everybody in their mama in free agency. They landed Al Horford. What do y'all think?
I got them at a B minus, a B minus. The reason why I got them at a B minus is because if you look at what they did, that's basically the only thing they did. They only picked up Al Horford. They let Jaron Sullinger and Evan Turner walk. Al Horford, he's a solid player, but I've watched Al Horford his whole entire career in Atlanta, and Al Horford he is not the second option on the team. He can be, but he's not reliable enough and consistent enough to be the second player, the second option on the team, and they're going to be expecting a lot out of him. But Jaylen Brown looks like he's probably going to be better than what a lot of people were expecting him. Probably should not have gotten that high, but he's still going to be good. Before a team that had a lot of high expectations, especially with the amount of draft picks that they had and trade rumors around their team, I give them a B minus.
All right, Waffle?
It was a cool signing. I mean, they did. I think they kind of paid him a lot of money, in my opinion. I think it was a little bit too much. Because he's already like 30, 31 years old. But they did need a power forward, or they just needed a scoring big man, and at least they have over now to cement that with Isaiah Thomas and Avery Bradley out there. I think they could get a better center instead of Amir Johnson. But if they had gotten Jimmy Butler and Al Horford on that team, then yeah, that would have been like an A plus signing. But I'll give them a B again, a nice little signing. But that's basically the only person they got in the offseason.
That is the only person they got. It's literally the only person.
I think it was a good move. I think they take a step up with Horford on their team, and I think they needed that. So next year free agency, that team's gonna look appealing, especially if they have cap space. Well, Amir Johnson's was that a player option he has for next year, or is he back next year?
I thought he was expiring. I thought that was it.
Oh, because I guess that was an option. So I mean, they're gonna have cap space freeing up next year regardless, and they have a lot of picks. So that team's in a very good situation. And they can make a lot of noise next year if they play their cards right. So I actually like that Al Horford signing for them. And I didn't realize how many more topics there were. So we're going to save some of these for next week. But let's just run through a little bit quickly. Actually, we'll go a little in depth with the Rockets, and then we'll skip through the rest of them because they're less significant. So the Rockets signed Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson to a lot of money. So I don't know. What's the term? All trash defensive team. It looks like the Rockets with James Harden there, and they lost Dwight.
Who's their coach? Their coach has to value defense, right? That's what he has to do, right? He has to value it, right? Who's their coach, agent? Let us know who these coach. Because the coach he gonna whip them in shape on defensive end, right?
Houston Rockets are in trouble, bro.
Who is their coach, man? He gonna have to whip him in shape defensively. No worry, they got a defensive-minded coach, man. I already know it. Who is their coach, man? Gonna let everybody know who their coach is, man.
Fucking Mike.
The better question. Who's that Pokemon? Let me stop.
That Mike D'Antoni, bro. I'm telling you right now, it's the fuck defense. Let's outscore them approach. So you can expect some 110 scoring games. You can expect some losses by 40 points when they don't get their shot on point. You can expect the whole world from this Rockets team. I think it's going to be fun to watch them next year, bro.
This team is going to play some small-ass ball lineup. They're going to have Ryan Anderson at the 5, Trevor Reeves at the 4, James Harden at 3, Eric Gordon at the 2. Patrick Beverly is their only point guard that actually isn't a rookie. So I don't know what they're doing.
You know how mad Patrick Beverly is going to be next year? Like, yo, fucking defend, you bitches. What y'all doing on the court? He about to be so fucking pissed off. Everybody just forgetting assignments. Wow.
You know what's crazy? And what's the name going to get exposed for being a bad coach? Because he does not have a point guard or a ball-handling player that's going to pass the ball to help rationalize why he's not, orchestrating any form of defense. But James Harden will lead the league in scoring because that's the type of style of play of basketball we're about to watch. On the I guess the alphabet scale, I give this an F because they got worse. they obviously got worse. They don't have any defense, and they're quite content without defending. And they still have streaky players on this team besides, of course, James Harden. But Trevor Ariza, streaky shooter. Corey Brewer, streaky player all around. Ryan Anderson, he can be streaky at times. There's no defense at all. But like Agent said, they're going to run up the score, man.
Wow, I looked at some details. This is a 3-year contract with the 4th option. Keep in mind, James Harden just restructured his contract, so he's going to be there long term till I think the 2020-2021 season. So James Harden decided.
Shout out to that nigga though. He got paid.
Yeah, he did. Why did we not see how D'Antoni? There's some coaches that can adjust, like Greg Pop, and there's some coaches that only know how to do it one way. In D'Antoni's mind, it's still 2005. And he's still coaching the Phoenix Suns, and he's still doing that shoot before the clock hits 14 method, and he still has a really fast-paced team. But he doesn't have a lot of that. He just knows how to play one way. When he went on the Lakers, that was clearly obvious. They fired him. So you're signing this guy to a long-term deal. What are you doing? This is every time. I should say this more often. Coaches' salaries need to be on the salary cap because this is ridiculous. Because they're just going to fire him, get a new guy, fire him. And I guess the owner's going to be pissed off because he's actually going to have to pay the money. But the team, there's no repercussions for them just making terrible coach decisions. It's crazy.
Well, you heard Mike D'Antoni. He said he wanted Harden to average about 11 to 12 assists per game.
That will never happen.
We're about to see something special this season.
If he averaged 11 or 12 assists, he's going to average 8 turnovers. So it won't happen. He'll break his record for the most turnovers in a season. He'll break it. He'll just break the record again. But AJ, I don't know what you're talking about, man. That man Mike D'Antoni, he's changed. He's going to teach defense. Trust me.
Oh, okay.
He's going to teach defense, man. He's going to whip James Harden, one of the most known notorious players for not playing defense. He's going to whip him into playing defense, man. You know, that's really why it's a fit, because D'Antoni doesn't coach defense, James Harden doesn't play defense, so it's good, man. It's good.
Man, I'm surprised that man got a job at coaching.
Facts. I was just thinking right now as you were speaking, this is going to be a great fucking team to watch on Shaq and a Fool. That's just a great team. There's going to be there's going to be an inbound and people are just going to be asleep.
This nigga James Harden gonna have to play 48 minutes because I don't know who the hell else gonna do something. Just look at that team, yo. That nigga gonna have to play 48 minutes, yo.
Ryan Anderson can't defend. Eric Gordon trouble defending and trouble staying healthy. James Harden can't defend. He's literally just Pat Bev. And who be center? Who be center?
Center. Guess who they picked up is their 5? Well, they already got Clint Capella, but guess who they picked up, Agent?
I have no fucking clue.
Guess who they picked up, Waffle?
Nene.
Oh my God. Nene, the defensive god himself, Nene. That's who they picked up.
Oh my God.
That nigga Nene gonna be swatting shots like he used to play for Denver. Best believe, yo. He can be running up and down the court like he used to play for Denver back in the day, man. That's who they got at 5.
That team's gonna be funny to watch.
That team's gonna bulldozed.
Oh man, that team's not making the playoffs for sure.
They gonna show the white. They gonna show the white.
I can't wait for that matchup, Hawks versus Rockets.
They gonna show the
Dwight.
They
missing Dwight.
They don't need that nigga. They gonna show the Dwight. They don't need him because they got James Harden and Mike D'Antoni.
I just noticed that too. They just lost Dwight and they didn't really sign any good pieces. So they do.
They just got Nene. What are you talking about?
I don't know what you talking about. They got Nene, nigga. I don't know.
Nene Hilario? Nah, he's a beast, bro. Chill.
And then Ryan Anderson, you bumming, nigga.
Facts.
This top five. This top five.
So in other news, I'm just gonna skip through these ones. If you have something to say, you can cut me off. The Spurs signed Pau Gasol.
That's a C. That's a C.
Yep. So you just kind of replaced Tim Duncan, had a little bit more depth. We talked about the Bulls signing Rondo. The Blazers signed Evan Turner, and they managed to keep Crabbe. Crabbe almost went to the Nets, but late in the process, the Blazers matched. I think he was a restricted free agent. So
C+.
Yeah, I'll give it C+.
I don't know why.
I think it's less than that because they signed Evan Turner for a fuck ton of money.
They signed Alan Crabbe also to a fuck ton of money.
Why get Alan Crabbe again if you want to already sign Evan Turner?
Yeah, I didn't get that. I guess they're gonna play Evan Turner at 3, but Brooklyn was really trying them. They were trying them on some fuck shit. They were gonna say we gonna oversign this nigga and see what y'all niggas gonna do, and they fucking matched it. So that's crazy.
So
So
And they also, I think you missed it. I think they also re-signed Myers Leonard, if I'm not mistaken.
they're gonna have a bench player making over $19 million.
And they got Festus Ezeli as well. So what we said C plus. Yeah, I'll still stick with the C plus though.
I'll go with C. So the Magic, don't know what the fuck they're still doing, but they managed to sign Biyombo for way too much, Jeff Green, and DJ Augustine in the offseason.
Insert the box as well. That's an F. That's top five worst brand managed teams. top five worst brand managed team in the NBA right now. So yeah, that's an F.
Joe Johnson is with the Jazz now, so Gordon Hayward's definitely going to be up off the team. So he's going to be looking for a new team real soon.
Whoa.
That nigga Gordon Hayward like, this is what y'all niggas doing now? Oh, that nigga Gordon. That's a C. That's a C.
I'll go with the B- on that one. Good replacement.
Damn, a B-.
Yeah, it's a decent move because he demanded a trade, so they might as well pick up a small forward.
I mean, they got a veteran. That was a good move.
Yeah.
Stop.
Jojo.
I feel bad for the Nets. We talked about Alan Crabb being his offer was matched. There was another player, a restricted free agent who they bid on.
Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson, him too.
Wait, did he match it?
There was. I'm not sure who the player was. All I know is I tweeted it out. Man, I need to go back and find the tweet now. But what would you guys rate the Nets offseason if I return here? They picked up Jeremy Lin and, of course, the GOAT, Louis Scola.
The Heat matched it, so Tyler Johnson is still on the Heat. Brooklyn Nets,
damn,
C-, because they let Jared Jack, Thad Young, and somebody else walk, which is crazy. There's a lot of pieces. I think Jeremy Lin, they finally got a point guard, but then they got so thin at every other position that it kind of hurt them more than anything else.
I give him a D. I don't know what they're doing now because they gave away that for nothing. I don't think they even have draft picks next season. So
they don't.
But the thing is, I don't understand why because they should have been doing the Alan Crabb thing as soon as the free agency period start. I would just be going around like signing niggas to max and daring teams to like match it. I don't understand why they weren't doing that because they have plenty of money now.
All right, yeah, they do. I think, I don't know. They're bidding pretty high on players too. So I mean, if you're getting a bid, if you're Alan Crabb or Tyler Johnson, and you should really be thanking the Nets every time you go over there to play because they're the reason you're getting this kind of money. Because the Heat or the Trailblazers wouldn't have gave you this much money, but they wanted to keep you around. So anyway, the Clippers, Hornets, and Mavs re-signed their own. So I don't know what that means.
C- for the Clippers. The Mavs signed
Hornets lost Marvin Williams?
No.
No, they still have him.
Hornets lost somebody on their team. I forgot who it was.
They lost Al Jefferson. They lost Courtney Lee, and they lost Jeremy Lin.
Oh, yeah. So L's right there.
So they took an F actually. Damn.
Wow.
I'm gonna give the Clippers an F.
I'm gonna give the Clippers an F as well because they didn't do shit. They still don't have a small forward. I don't know why they would. I understand why you're trying to go big with the whole Kevin Durant thing, but you should have threw your hat in the Harrison Barnes campaign.
Would you throw max to Harrison Barnes though?
That's what Dallas damn near did, and they have. If you got, being realistic, if you don't think he gonna come to the Clippers, then you need to throw your hat in and upbid the Mavericks for Harrison Barnes because you need a small forward. They're about to go into another season without a small forward again.
Yeah, they will. And I think the Mavs they just lost Zaza, right?
The Mavs lost Zaza and Chandler
Parsons and
Parsons
Zaza.
too.
Yeah, but they got Harrison Barnes and Bogut.
Yeah,
so that's a C-.
A
C-.
They got scrap.
That's a C- to you? That's like a B-.
They ain't doing
a B-?
I mean, they picked up Harrison Barnes though.
That's not really.
That's better than Chandler Parsons.
Is it though?
100%.
I think
is it really?
Parsons was hurt last year. I think that's the reason why he didn't play.
Nah, he's been hurt forever.
Parsons is a better shooter though. So
is he though? Because I've had him on my fantasy teams a couple of years, and he's just a letdown.
So last year?
Last year he was hurt though, so I don't understand why you keep saying
a couple of years, so it wasn't just last year.
But I don't know what you're talking about. Parsons is normally like a high 30s three-point shooter. I don't know. The reason why I give the Dallas Mavericks such a low number, a low grade, is because for the past few years they keep banking on free agents to finally land a center, and they keep failing. Like every year, they keep failing on trying to get a center, and they got Andrew Bogut this year.
The Mavericks are the team at the Thanksgiving table that don't even eat at Thanksgiving. They wait till the next day. They get the leftovers, man. That's what that team is, fam. Niggas are waiting there.
That's the team that keeps saying like, yo, I promise you tomorrow though. Watch what's about to come in. Watch what they're about to bring tomorrow. Watch what they're gonna bring tomorrow, yo. This shit gonna be nasty, yo. And as soon as you look at what's tomorrow bringing, they're gonna be like, oh, I guess we gonna have to eat what we got right now. They gonna have to settle, and that team has been settling for the past 3 years, yo. They had to bring back Darren Williams. Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness.
That team took that's a C-, yo.
Just kill this guy. Oh my god.
Or you just want to kill him?
I feel bad for that organization.
I'm trying to realize there's a lot of overrated organizations. It's just been a player they had. It's been like 1 or 2 players on their whole franchise that's been carrying that organization for the past like 15 years. And as soon as them players retire, I don't know what's going to happen to these organizations.
All right. Well, those are the entire topics. So I guess we'll close it out. It's been going on for almost 2 hours now. So we're getting to the concluding statements then. Low, Waffle.
I guess before we conclude, I think we're going to say this anyway, but I'll start off by saying, yo, shout out to Nick Smith, man. He finally hit 100K. Congratulations to that man, yo. It's well deserved. All the stuff he's been doing on his channel for the past 6 months, especially the past 6 months, has been ridiculous. The amount of views he's been getting, the amount of hours he's been spending on his videos, is well received on what he's been able to put out on YouTube, the type of content, and you know, it's been nice knowing him for the past year or so, getting to know him, especially on the podcast and shit like that. So shout out to Nick Smith for reaching 100K. Thank y'all for watching my videos. The Steph Curry video, like Agent said earlier, is like 15,000 views, which for somebody who doesn't even have 1,000 subs, that's a lot. So I thank y'all for that as well. Thank y'all for sharing my videos. Thanks for the comments and putting it on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Legend of Winning, and we'll see y'all next week.
Waffle.
That's a closed case. 30 to your face. 60 to your face.
What?
90 to your face.
What?
And that's a closed case. Oh, let me chill. But yeah, man. Check out everyone's channel. Of course, Nick Smith got that 100K. Too breezy, too fleazy. Australian, my beezy. We coming up, yeah, babe. Yeah, that's it coming up, babe. But oh man, that's about it. Check out the channel. Make sure you go click on that video I put up about the AyoPodcast before this podcast ends. Because once I put that video, once the podcast end, I'm gonna private the video. So I make sure I get my 20 cents. So
wow.
Check shit out.
Hi, somebody mistaken your squealing low for me in the chat. Thanks for watching, y'all. We're at 66 views right now. That's what's up, especially since it's real late. Low's about to hit 1,000. Wolf's about to hit 10,000. I'm a few days away from 40,000, and Nick Smith just hit 100,000. We all making milestones out here. Shout out to the boy Nick Smith. Yo, I don't know what it is. Like I see a lot of people hit milestones, but when Nick Smith hit it 100K, like for some reason it just felt tangible. Like I was like, yo, he's about to get the silver play button. Because like everyone that I see get the silver play button is all like people on YouTube that I watch, but it's not people I talk to. So I mean, huge shout out to Nick, yo. Nick's making moves out here.
I forgot about that shit. The silver play button.
Everybody hit the silver play button, yo.
That's all I'm looking forward to is that silver play button.
That's all I'm looking. I'm looking for him to make that video with that silver play button. I ain't gonna lie, that's what I'm waiting for.
Oh man.
This shit gonna take a year to get to him.
Especially in Australia, it will take a while.
I ain't gonna lie.
Just procrastinate too much. Nigga will be halfway to 200, and they be like, "Hey, your silver play, yo."
Yo, PewDiePie's at like 46 million,
and
he just got his plaque for 10 million.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm wildin'.
Oh man. So anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. It was a nice NBA talk. Real overview of the free agency. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, and yeah, let's get low to 1,000 subs. So make sure to subscribe if you guys are new.
And follow me on Twitter though, yo. Follow me on Twitter.
Well, anyway, you don't even have your own Twitter link.
You don't want to follow this guy.
All right, we'll catch you guys in the next pod. We're out, yo. Peace.
You don't get to dictate when we get done, yo, because I'm the one who got the button, boy.
Fuck you.
I'm the one who gets to push it. So I'm the one who decides when we gonna be done with this.
I was like, what's going on here?
Are we
This
done?
nigga talking